Hi, it's Michelle Austin from the Lead with Impact podcast. We all know that feeling of being alone and isolated in business. It's tough out there, and it's easy to feel like you're the only one struggling while navigating the business world. But the good news is you're not alone. The Lead with Impact podcast is all about learning from others who have been there and done that. We interview inspiring guests who share their stories, trials, and triumphs so that you can learn from their mistakes and map out your path to success. Each week, we'll bring you inspiring stories, valuable insights, and actionable tips from other business people who are leading with impact. So, if you're ready to learn from others and take your business to the next level, subscribe to the Lead with Impact podcast today. Hi, it's Michelle Austin with the Lead from Impact podcast. Today, I have the honor of interviewing Yolandi Erasmus. Yolandi is a passionate and driven legal professional who has excelled in her field. After being admitted as an attorney, she further solidified her credentials by being admitted as a notary public a year later. Her dedication was rewarded again with the right of appearance before South Africa's High Court. With so much success under her belt, Yolandi continues to focus on empowering not only herself, but those around her. Her dedication towards growth and development, both personally and professionally, has enabled herself, those she represents, team members, and her business partners to flourish. Yolandi's clients appreciate her quick comprehension of their needs and her ability to anticipate and cater for them efficiently and effectively. As a director, she has developed the capacity to analyze and coordinate all aspects of business operations, including employee productivity and ensuring financial security, all while operating within an environment of diligent risk management and assessment. She is also responsible for establishing strategic goals as well as overseeing employee performance in order to meet these objectives. Yolandi has also served as a non-executive director on the Johannesburg Property Company Board, JPC, as well as the Transactions and Risk Committees. She was also awarded Networker of the Year at her Business Networking International chapter in 2021. Join us this week to hear more about how one of the leading players in the legal space is making an impact. Make sure you don't miss it. So today we welcome Yolandi Erasmus. So welcome, Yolandi. It's an absolute privilege to have you with us today.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you for the invite.
Absolute pleasure. So Yolandi, what motivates you to get up in the morning? Are you driven by relationships? Are you driven by money, success? What makes you tick?
Very good question. So for me, that makes me jump out of bed every morning is to see my husband and little girl, and then thereafter using my superpower to help entrepreneurs in South Africa. So being a business lawyer, and we counsel businesses, it just drives me out of bed to know that I can use my legal risk governance compliance skills to help strategize, motivate, and just getting businesses from making ends meet to being profitable, or when you're profitable, going to the next level.
100%. That gets me up in the morning too. And then if there is one thing that you would change in the next year, what do you think it would be?
Definitely, I'd like to have a harmony between the 6 pillars of life. So spirituality, career, lifestyle, family. There's a lot about the psychology behind the 6 pillars, and I'm definitely focusing on that this year.
Yolandi, who has been your most important professional mentor and why?
So I've been privileged over a lifetime of my career that I had 2 important professional mentors, one being Emmy de Kock. She used to be a practicing attorney, and now she owns the Lawyers Working from Home, now recently changed to Lawyers Working Smart platform, which is the only one of its kind in South Africa. And she actually taught me how to not only be a practicing female attorney, but also how to be an entrepreneur in the legal space. Then my second one is Eugene Botha. He's the partner in the Erasmus Botha Incorporated law firm, and he has taught me it is hard building a business, and even more so if you want to make an impact in entrepreneur's life, and you don't have to do it alone. That's why we've got partners. And interestingly enough, like we've just discussed behind the scenes, there is a difference between a business mentor and a business coach. So Emmy used to be my mentor, and she's a business coach now. So if you think coach, business coach, that is to achieve the goals you want. We get busy so quickly, with all aspects of life, and she keeps you on track and accountable. Where a mentor just shares the experiences they've had and how it can apply to you.
Something else I think that we should mention is also that as your career progresses, you may require different mentors, or coaches. So as you develop in your career, the person who was initially your mentor, you may actually even outgrow them. Exactly. And potentially would then need somebody else. So it's an ever evolving concept that you need to look at and examine whether that person is assisting you in the ways that you need in order to progress in the ways that you want to.
And specifically at that time. So I think they're very well coached to identify, okay, you've reached a certain goal. We have to push you to the next step now and either grow with you, or like you say, you have to evaluate what is next, and is this person serving me as a coach or mentor, serving that purpose or your goal for that period in your life.
Yeah, 100%. It's about times and phases in your life.
Exactly.
And then what are some of the challenges that you faced when you first started?
I thought about this quite a bit, because when you do your LLB in South Africa to become an attorney, you don't receive the practical training of running your own business, becoming an entrepreneur, thinking like an entrepreneur. So over the last 10 years, I had to really focus on that, and on-job training showed me it's not only about your business acumen, but also about your creativity and your ability to push through, see opportunities, making sure the opportunities you're chasing are actually the correct ones. And enjoying the ride while it's up and down.
Something I've learned through COVID is agility. It is incredibly important. Red tape often makes things very difficult in business, and you need to just make sure that your processes accommodate the need for that agility, because the world is just changing at an ever increasing pace, and we need to keep up with it, or else we're going to get left behind.
Exactly. So it's super fast, and I would really suggest that they think about practical modules for the entrepreneurship, being an entrepreneur, as to just becoming a lawyer. Thinking about how, especially if you want to do commercial law and serve commercial clients, to know how to do that and what approach. Then the rest can be on-job training, sure, but to have that inherent knowledge of things change and how do you react to that change, how quickly can you solve the problems, because that's important. If you think about the entrepreneurs we serve, they mostly own and manage businesses, and it impacts not only all of the employees in the organization, but their families directly. And that's why we know we have to, every single day, is stay at the forefront, be a forward-thinking law firm, and be able to solve the problems for our entrepreneurial clients.
What do you think is a common myth about your industry or your job?
So there are a lot of lawyers' jokes out there, but I think the one that springs to mind is lawyers are only in it for the money. And yes, sure, we're a profession and we'd like to be paid, for our time, but it's not only about the money. It is, from us as a law firm, we've got client intimacy, and that is, been working with you for the last 8 years, that is something we focus on, to make sure that it's altruistic behavior from each of our attorneys that's serving our clients, meaning it's not about our own selfish needs, it's about our clients and getting things done in the best interest of our clients.
Yeah, I think I'm realizing more and more as I grow through my career, how business is all about relationships. And if you have the right relationships, you will get very far.
Yeah, so that's why there is saying, on the one hand, it's not about what you know, it's who you know. 100%. And the other saying that quite resonates with me, it's people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yes.
And that just always sticks with me.
Yeah,
interacting
100%.
With clients.
100%.
Yeah, so that's myth bust for the legal profession.
I think it's a
not
myth.
All about the money.
100%. I think it's a myth in the accounting profession as well.
I'm sure. I can imagine.
And we like to count beans, and we're pedantic.
Well, you are, but you're not only there for that.
Okay, how do you go about boosting productivity without causing burnout?
So I discussed the 6 pillars of a happy life, and I found that, if you've got harmony between the 6 pillars in your life, so I'm specifically not saying balance, because you'll never have a balance between all 6 pillars. You can imagine sometimes work just gets so busy, fighting fires, helping clients, you skip a gym day.
100%. It's about that phases that I was talking about. There's certain phases where you need to work a little bit more on one aspect and give a little bit less on another.
Yes, so you skip gym day, and that's okay. If the synchronization between all 6 elements are there, it's okay. Just taking the pressure of if I have to be absolutely balanced between all 6. It won't happen. Life's not like that.
It's a wheel. It's a wheel of life.
Yes.
Perfect. And then how do you go about encouraging work company culture?
So to answer that question, you first have to know a bit about our culture. And I mentioned the otherishness, the altruistic thinking about others before yourself. And that's also how we serve clients. So if we recruit employees, and mostly, of course, attorneys, and we do it on a Dr. DeMartini values-based system. So that means that we recruit employees, we maybe not the best varsity degrees, but their values are similar than ours, which means that they embed our culture automatically. It's inherent to them as a person. And then the culture sorts out itself, because everyone is driving the culture every single day, because it's in every single one of us. So it's not about, a culture drive in the sense of, yes, we do team lunches and yes, we keep in contact, but it is that standing up every day and knowing this is our purpose and this is the impact we want to make.
So one of the things we do at Kigor is that we actually, before we really do anything else, is we do a culture fit test, and we do not pass go. That person doesn't go past go unless they pass that cultures test.
Yes.
And then what we will do is we will do an assessment. So they will do a physical test to see if they are capable, because there needs to be a balance between both.
Of course.
And only then do they get to the final round of interviews. So that's how we look at things, to encourage the corporate culture, like you say, to embed it in the people that work for you. Because if they've got the same values that the business stands for, there isn't a massive
disconnect between the employee and not delivering. Then we can immediately pick up, this employee is not performing, what is wrong? Because we know there is that inherent wanting to help others, and if they're not delivering properly, we know there's something wrong, and we can fix that, as opposed to just throwing out a blanket over, like most corporates. No, it's just not a good fit.
100%.
So it's from the outset, from recruitment phase.
Great. If you were given 10 million rand to solve any world problem, what problem would you choose, and how would you go about contributing to the solution?
Wow. Okay, do you have 10 million?
I wish.
Yeah. So I believe success is based on the problems you solve. So if you think about South Africa, we're sitting with poverty. Our communities are poor. There's such a big difference from our lower class to our middle class. And I had to think about it when I read the question. I was like, okay, so where's our greatest problem? So alleviating poverty and bring prosperity, building communities, which includes your entrepreneurs, your township entrepreneurs. I mean, entrepreneurs in Gauteng contributes to a big part of the GDP of Gauteng and South Africa. So if we can properly support them, then, we've come a long way to start alleviating poverty. And it's not, those entrepreneurs are sustainable enough to go through the macro and micro risks in business without having to retrench people and jobs being lost. So it's kind of, we take care of the entrepreneurs so they can take care of the employees. And through that, how we want to do that, and I get so excited when we say this, with the 10 million, there's a part that I want to invest so it grows. And with the other parts, and obviously the growth I'll also use towards this initiative, is to actually have legal risk governance and compliance app for entrepreneurs. So you have that support from us instantaneously. If you have a phone, you can access our legal risk governance and compliance. So if you get stuck, which most entrepreneurs do, and they sometimes have a bit of an ego and don't want to ask for help, they can pick up their phone and we're there. So it's like the Uber for legal services. So that is definitely something I'll do, and get the phones out there so the entrepreneurs on that level can access that.
Yeah, 100%. Something that I've learned over the last few weeks is that we need to teach our South African youth and entrepreneurs to become self-reliant. And if they've got self-reliance, then they can achieve their dream.
And speaking about self-reliance, that's one thing, and so many of our youth have that go and they just want to do things, but statistically it shows 80% of startups fail within the first 3 years. And then we dug a bit deeper and did some research, and it is that their legal risk, governance and compliance aren't in place. They are hit, they don't know what their contract states, they breach it, people take them to court, they can't fight that legal battle, and they just fold. And that person, and everybody they've employed goes with it. So that is why this Uber for legal services are close to our heart.
And actually, our president said the other night in the Stoner that entrepreneurs and small businesses make up 39% of our GDP. So that is where we need to focus our efforts on, because if we can grow that, that is how our country is going to grow.
No, exactly. And we've known this all along, and people focuses on SMEs and enterprise development. But I feel we're at a stage that all of us need to pull together now.
100%.
And we can change the history of our country.
We've got so much potential. We'll just need to focus the attention in the right places.
And providing access, commercial legal services access to those entrepreneurs so that they can give you a call without being charged 1,200 Rand for that call, or getting something that is standard, let's say like an NDA, a proper reviewed NDA. Give me a quick call. I can customize it for that relationship that you're entering into, the partnership or whatever the case may be. And they just don't. They pull something off the internet, if they even do that.
Which might not even be applicable to South Africa.
Exactly. So then they come to us. But they come to us reactively. Then we have to sort out their problems, which we do. But we really want to focus on and get the message out there that you have to use legal risk, governance, compliance proactively. So that you don't go to court.
100%. We've learned that as Kegel as well. We've spent a lot of time over the last 10 or so years working on that, and touch wood, it's paid off.
Yes.
Perfect. Thanks, Yolandi. So thank you for joining us. My last question is, where can listeners get in contact with you if they want to learn more?
So I'm on LinkedIn, Yolandi Erasmus, and we've got a Business Council newsletter. So if you subscribe to that through my profile, you'll get tips and tricks on what we've discussed today and how that looks in practice. Then I can share my phone number, 079-5285-087. And any listeners, business owners that listen to this and come through your channels, got a free 30-minute strategic consultation session that can be found on our website.
That's amazing.
So www.ebilaw.co.za. And there we can immediately pick up getting to know you as an entrepreneur. What are your needs? How do we go about it? How does it fit into your budget? So we're not stringent about hourly billing. We try to shy away from that. So to make it more affordable and better to budget for your legal.
100%. So, Yolandi, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it, and we loved getting to know you a little bit better and everything that EBI and Novate do. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and I hope your top 40 under 40 nominations come out in your favor.
Awesome,
and
thank you.
Yeah, we're behind you every step of the way.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I'd like to thank our esteemed guest, Yolandi Erasmus, for joining us today, providing us with valuable advice and stirring narratives that will help shape how we approach challenges in the future. Her insights were truly impactful, a great source of motivation.